12 freaking banners! There is a lot to break down here today, so we'll be splitting this analysis down into two parts, one for first half and one for second half. So today, let's analyze who'll get you the most bang for your Astrites in version 2.3's first half. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. Starting with everybody's favorite goated bank lady, Zani. She's most likely going to be an excellent DPS within the Spectral Frazzle niche. Her gameplay is unique and unlike any other Wuthering Waves unit that we currently have so far, and she seems to be the answer to being able to use Spectral Frazzle and Multi-Wave. This is because, from the looks of the gameplay footage that Kuro has shown off, she appears to enjoy firing off heavy attacks that do well in AoE and can be used over a sustained period of time. She also has buffing capabilities, as whenever she uses her outro skill, the entire team gains a 20% spectral damage jump when Zani's debuff is active, meaning that she has team-wide utility as well, and because her gameplay is so slow, this means that she has excellent quick swap potential. This derives from the fact that when a character casts a long animation, you're able to swap to another teammate to fill some damage in during that other unit's attack. It's likely that things will feel the same with Zani. That means she'll have high potential for higher skilled players. However, being slow can also be somewhat of a turnoff. Because Wuthering Waves characters typically have very fast playstyles. Make sure to trial her extensively and be sure that her gameplay is really for you before you pull for her. Also, one of her biggest strengths is one of her biggest drawbacks. She's going to most likely end up as an amazing Phoebe teammate, and may seriously improve the Acolyte's performance in Whimpering Wastes. However, in turn, I think that Zani's seriously going to suffer performance-wise without Phoebe, as she's the premier Spectral Frazzle buffer. I believe that while yes, you will clear all content with a free-to-play friendly Zani team, it's highly likely that her full value will be gated behind Phoebe. I would try to pick up Phoebe for her if possible. Otherwise, she may likely feel gimped. Shakona down the line may help with this issue, but we'll need to wait for more information regarding her. Either way, assuming that you have Phoebe, Zani's going into S tier for the value rankings of this patch. Otherwise, I would lower her down to A. Speaking of which, Phoebe herself has to be one of the most valuable pulls that you can currently make in Wuthering Waves as it stands. She's a fully free-to-play friendly team in herself, Sanhuan Spectre Rover, while also having a Xiangli team available if you're willing to quick swap during her enhanced charge attacks. Her support mode will finally be seeing use of Zani's introduction into the game, as you'll now finally be able to make use of her buffing capabilities and high volume of Spectral Frazzle application. Otherwise, it's likely that there will be some strong dual carry potential between them thanks to Zani's slow attacks. She's also extremely easy to use at a baseline, while having extremely high damage potential. Her versatility is super effective, and she can use more Tefi over Sanhua if you feel the need to free up the Jinzhou Magistrate's bodyguard. She's an incredible investment to make into the Spectral Frazzle niche, and she's amazing for both new and old players alike. I actually think that Phoebe's an excellent first 5-star to pull for, seeing as both Sanhua plus Spectre Rover are early game free units that you can obtain fairly quick. Certainly one of the best recent releases. I can only see her value going up from here. S+ tier in the value rankings for this patch. Easily one of the best pulls that you can make in the entire game. Silly Painter Jojo is another character that I have a ton of faith in. You see, this is namely because of her fantastic synergy with the esteemed Montelli Lady Carlotta, who is currently one of the best DPSs in Wuthering Waves. While you could certainly get by just fine using Yang Yang, it's undeniable that the Silly Painter is an excellent upgrade to the Montelli Lady's damage output. That's all thanks to the fantastic skill percent and glacial percent that's stored within that outro skill of hers. This isn't even mentioning how her coordinated attacks and skill percent lend her to being a fantastic Jinshi teammate too, a unit with high DPS numbers, alongside fantastic ease of use. She's also capable of contributing some solid personal damage if you hand her either Stringmaster or signature weapon, Rhyme Draped Sprouts. In fact, I have her on Phoebe's weapon when I use her typically speaking, and she does just fine on it. Being amazing for two such good DPSs make her a fantastic pull, and I still believe her to be one of the greatest second salt teammates in all of Wuthering Waves. Her value will only ever increase as we attain more glacial DPSs and skill damage-based DPSs. Also, her ease of use is splendid. Anybody can pick up Jojo and make excellent use out of her. The DPSs she works with are also notoriously easy to operate, meaning that pretty much anyone can access super clean clears with her, and if you're having issues with setup time, try pressing the jump button really quickly after teleporting to your skill summons to cut down the animation time. This is referred to as jump cancelling, and it's one of the easiest additional kit techniques to learn in the entire game. Easily going into S tier when it comes to the value rankings of this patch. You can't go wrong here. Yinlin's okay. I mean, sure. On 5-piece Empyrean Anthem, her personal damage isn't completely bricks without Stringmaster, but this unit seriously depends on Stringmaster a whole lot in order to feel good. Otherwise, you're not going to yield a whole lot out of his Spy Lady's damage. She's great for Xiangli Yao hyper teams, but you have other options to play, such as Xiangli Quickswap or Kalcharo Quickswap. Those comps are harder to play, yes. But I'd say that it's worth learning those if you have the units on hand, as opposed to picking up a 5-star that isn't anywhere nearly as relevant as she used to be. Unironically, you'd rather pull for Stringmaster due to the insane overall account versatility that it provides. It's extremely strong on basically any damage-based rectifier wielder, so if you have the pulls, pick up the weapon instead. That's a much better investment of your Astrites in the long term, unless Yinlin's your #1 waifu or anything like that. Outside of Xiangli teams, you can use her in Jinji comps as an upgrade over Yanwu, while allowing Jojo to be used by Carlotta. However, Counterella exists now, and because that lady also features coordinated attacks, while featuring skill percent buffs on outro too, yeah, Yinlin's seeing some real competition these days. She does indeed have Electro percent and Liberation percent on outro, but sadly, despite the largeness of those buffs, you haven't much reason to choose her, as they aren't enough to justify her overall value as a character. It's a shame. I feel like Jiyan aged way better than her on the whole when you take a look at the 2 limited 5 stars that have been released back in version 1.0. I don't think she's literally valueless, but she's definitely one of the most wasteful pulls in the game. I think the only other character that features less value than her would be none other than Roshia. B tier in the value rankings for this patch. Easily passable. Jiyan, my beloved. To be honest, you should be getting him because he's an extremely attractive man, but if you need some meta-based reasons, then sure, I can provide those as well. Essentially, he's dumb easy to play. It's kind of silly how little you have to think when using this guy. Unironically, one of the most brainless kits out there. Of course, you can apply more technical skills to his gameplay if you want, such as casting 2 intro skills and 1 rotation for more energy generation, but at his core, he's one of the hardest units to mess up when it comes to gameplay. No questions asked. He's amazingly versatile across all endgame modes. In TOA, while he's definitely outclassed by other damage dealing options, he's still a really formidable character that deals some real nice damage. You'll definitely be able to clear within the given time for him, and in turn, you end up with a unit who's literally insane in Whimpering Wastes. Jiyan is no joke in that game mode. His AoE grouping takes out those mobs like they're yesterday's trash. He's also quite free to play accessible, as he enjoys using Mortefi, a 4-star buffer that has not failed to appear on any one of Jiyan's rerun banners, meaning that whenever you pull for him, you'll easily be able to form a good team. I'd also like to point out how, despite releasing all the way back in version 1.0, this unit still feels really powerful and competent. Despite us being in an entirely different era of Wuthering Waves, it remains very realistic to clear all endgame content with Jiyan. The existence of AoE-based game modes such as Whimpering Wastes have only accentuated his value in the long term. I can certainly vouch for the guy. Kuro may see him as finished, but upgrades like Nightmare Philly and Berengal came out of nowhere. I think he'll continue to be a strong, sustainable unit over a very long period of time. Sure, he's not the peak of damage anymore, but you'll still remain pleased with what the man's able to offer you. S tier in the value rankings for this patch. Being excellent in both WuWa and TOA is what really draws his value up in my opinion. Then last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Xiangli Yao, a unit who against all odds, despite being a free handout from Kuro all the way back in version 1.2, ended up being quite formidable when it came to his overall meta strength. I wouldn't call him top tier per se. I do feel that people overrate him at times when evaluating his overall strength, but of course, with that being said, I'll give him his flowers. After all, he's still certainly a strong character. He's easy to use at a baseline while having a very complex ceiling. After all, Xiangli Yao is a team comp that exists. A team in which you swap to Xiangli to do your crosscut, sever, every time he does one of his longer animation duration enhanced moves. Anytime he does something that takes a little while, you swap. Otherwise, if you're not interested in the gorgeous Phoenix lady, then Kalcharo Quickswap exists with him too. Yes, it's naturally going to be harder to use, because Mr. I see my way clear over here has the playstyle of all time, let's say, but it still remains as being one of the best possible ways to use Kalcharo, a standard unit, while allowing for a powerful Xiangli Yao setup. I'm not particularly into the idea of suggesting that people pull for Yinlin, as she's a character that only continues to lose more and more meta value as time goes on. But yes, she's a good support for casual Hyper Xiangli Yao comps. He's versatile in many scenarios, and is a good all-round choice to make. But honestly, I'd rather recommend Jiyan over him, due to the Dragon Lad's insane dominance in Whimpering Wastes, as being one of the best potential damage dealers that you can choose for that mode. Is the DPS potential lower in TOA? Sure, but you'd trade that in exchange for some wildly good overall performance. Xiangli is great, he really, really is. But when Phoebe and Jiyan, 2 extremely beginner-friendly DPSs with easy-to-learn playstyles, are right there, with Zani being an insane option to choose for people who have a copy of Phoebe, yeah, it's difficult to recommend choosing Xiangli as your DPS of choice this time around. Also, I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. Jiyan is infinitely more attractive than Xiangli Yao, and it's not even close. A tier in the value rankings for this patch. He is far from being a bad character, let me emphasize that. He's strong for sure. Yet even with that being taken into consideration, I don't think he should be anyone's immediate first choice, unless you love the character himself a lot. There's a whole lot of banners this time around. 12 total banners. That has got to be the most banners I've ever seen in one gacha patch. Who knows, maybe there's a game out there that has ran more than that before, but at least in my time, that is the most I have ever seen. So obviously, it's kind of hard to choose which ones to go for. In fact, I think it's reasonable to call the current banner situation totally overwhelming. Yet with that being said, with some breaking down, it's much easier to see who's actually a valuable pull out of this whole lot and who's not. Obviously go for whoever you love the most at the end of the day, but if you're somebody that cares about making the wisest choices when it comes to spending Astrites, then I'd say these evaluations are fairly reasonable. Who are you pulling for in Wuthering Waves version 2.3? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I have a ZZZ second channel. Head on over and subscribe if you're interested in some fun, silly ZZZ content. I'd also like to mention that I stream on Twitch. I stream once a week every week on Saturday, start from 3 PM UK time. Come along so that we can play Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, and do some other fun stuff together. Hopefully this video was able to tell you who'd get you the best bang for your Astrites in Wuthering Waves version 2.3. This has been Juice, signing out, and Jiyan is easily the most attractive character out of all 6. I will not be taking arguments on that.